On January 14, a Kerala trial court acquitted Bishop Franco, who has been accused of raping a nun 13 times between 2014 and 2016. Now, not only did the court acquit the bishop of all charges, it also said that the survivor nun's statements were inconsistent. Further, Justice G. Gopakumar deemed that the prime witness in the case, Sister Lissy, was an unreliable witness. Though several legal experts have slammed the judgment, calling it ill-informed and flawed, several people on social media and elsewhere have questioned the survivor and called her a liar. Why did she send cordial emails to the bishop, a man who had allegedly assaulted her? Why did she travel with him in a car the day after he had allegedly assaulted her? Why didn't she admit to penile penetration in her medical examination? Why did she give differing versions to people in her social circle? Why did she do this? And why didn't she do that? Understanding sexual violence and women's response to it is not simple. We are all conditioned to believe that a victim will respond in certain ways. She will scream, she will slap the perpetrator, she will tell her family about it, she will cut off all ties with him, she will look sad and depressed. But in reality, there is no telling how a victim will behave. Women have been led to believe that sexual violence is their fault. Speaking about it is not easy. Often, they take time to open up to somebody, if at all. Many a time, they go on as if nothing has happened because they find it difficult to acknowledge it to themselves, especially if the perpetrator was known to them. Do you find this unbelievable? Well, the Netflix series Unbelievable is based on the serial rapes in Colorado and Washington that took place between 2008 and 2011. It all began with an 18-year-old woman known as Marie who was raped in her home by an intruder in Washington. But guess what? When she reported the rape, nobody believed her. The title of the series comes from the most common adjective used to discredit a survivor's account of what happened: unbelievable. Across 8 episodes, the series takes us through the various twists and turns in the case that reveal just how much a survivor has to go through for her account to be believed. While recounting a traumatic incident, survivors may remember some details wrongly, or there might be inconsistencies in how they remember it. Their mind may block out some facts and even create a false memory to cope with what has happened. This is a well-documented response to trauma. In Unbelievable, the male police officers investigating the case doubt Marie's version of events because of inconsistencies in her statements. Marie has grown up in foster care and has only just moved out to live by herself. Her ex-foster moms, who observe her seemingly cheerful behavior just days after the sexual assault, begin to doubt her too. Her previous history is used to extrapolate that she lied about the rape because she was indulging in attention-seeking behavior. The police persuade her to state that she lied and even charge her for allegedly wasting their time. As Marie's story is unraveling, we are also shown 2 women investigators, Karen and Grace, who are independently looking into different sexual assault cases. They figure out that there could be a link and begin to work the cases together, discovering that there is a serial rapist out there. Across the 8 episodes, the series breaks apart commonly held ideas about sexual violence and survivors. From what she should look like to how she should talk, how she should behave and respond to various situations. The big difference between the cops investigating Marie's case and the investigation led by the women is belief. In the first, the officers look at the survivor with nothing but skepticism, while in the second, the officers begin by believing without making any assumptions. When they finally apprehend the rapist, they find photographic evidence of his first crime, Marie. It turned out that she had been telling the truth all along, though nobody believed her. They found it unbelievable. Let me remind you that the series is not fiction. It is based on a real-life case. In India, though 95% of reported rapes are considered to be solved, only 23% result in conviction. This does not mean that 77% of women who went to court are liars. It only means that the court was not convinced beyond doubt that the accused was guilty. Sexual crimes are not like other crimes where the victim has nothing to fear. In fact, they bear the brunt of the consequences of the crime. Often, going to court is the last resort because it involves reliving their trauma. When the burden of proof falls on the prosecution, it can be really hard to prove a case, especially when several years have elapsed, people's memories can't be entirely relied on, and material evidence too is scant. Still, considering the stigma attached to sexual violence in our country and the low conviction rate, it is mind-boggling that people keep insisting that women file false rape charges whenever they fancy it. There is no data to support this oft-repeated claim either. The prosecution in the Bishop Franco case will go to the Kerala High Court next. You may or may not believe that the evidence in the case will hold up. But please remember this before you jump into any social media discussion. The lawyers, judges, and the police come from the same society where a survivor's version of events is always considered to be unbelievable. So do you. This case is not over. If you liked watching this video, don't forget to share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And please consider becoming a member of the News Minute to support our journalism.